Good evening, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. I am freezing cold, guys. Cannot wait to get in the shower right now and go and take a shower and then get into some warm pajamas and then go to bed in my warm bed. But that is because honestly, guys, I was not even that cold at the football game as I feel like I am right now. And I think it's just because I realize how warm it is. Like, I feel like there's a certain point, like once you get to a certain level of cold where it just doesn't affect you anymore. You know, like you can't feel it. And that was kind of how I was. I was super bundled up though. Like, honestly, it wasn't really that cold and it didn't feel that bad. And like, there wasn't any wind during the football game or anything like that. So it didn't feel that bad. But it was like, you know, again, like when it really got late too, it started to get a little chilly, but it still was not like, you know, I mean, it was cold. It was really cold. I think like it was like probably 30 something degrees, maybe low 40s at best when the game, because I know I checked the weather. My dad did too. Like checked the weather before that, but you know, like earlier today. So it was cold. But again, I was so bundled up. I had like 4 or 5 layers on my upper body. I had 2 layers on my lower body and 3 pairs of socks. So I was definitely bundled up for everything. And like I said, I wasn't really that cold. I didn't even have gloves on actually, and my hands weren't that cold. Although the coach did give out like hand warmers, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I had hand warmers that I had in my jacket. Which the thing is that when I'm using the camera, I can't also wear gloves because then I will hit every button. Like the gloves are too thick, and I don't have like thinner gloves really that like would work better. So you know, like even if I did, I feel like I'd still end up like accidentally hitting like 3 buttons at the same time. So anyways, I didn't wear gloves and my hands weren't that cold. Like I expected like my hands are gonna be freezing, but again, every like timeout or so, you know, like I'd stick my hands back in my pockets and then, you know, the hand warmers, and they'd be warm again. So it really wasn't that bad. And again too, the you know, like the temperature wasn't that bad, but for some reason now that I'm home and inside, I'm just like, I'm freezing cold. Like I cannot figure it out. So you know, even like on the bus I was a little cold, but like it wasn't that bad. I think I don't think they had the air conditioning on, but like they didn't have the heat on either. Like it was just because there was a lot of us, it was just very hot. Or not that hot, but like, you know, it was just warm. Like the windows were like completely fogged up though. Like they were completely fogged up. But when we were leaving, there was actually ice on the car. So that was how cold it was. Like it frosted by the time we got out to the car, which we got home at about midnight. So we left while the school day was still going on. We actually went into the school, like, and it was funny because I was like, Jack, what was that noise? And he was like, that was the school bell. And I was like, oh really? Because like we got into the school like during like before their like, you know, last period of the day. So that was, I think, when most of the kids ended up getting out. And it was so cool, guys. All of the like, there was not the entire school, but a lot of classes came out to like wave, you know, like to all of the football kids, like as the bus was leaving, which we were on coach buses, which was really nice. I think they were better than the buses we had last year for our 5-hour drive. This was only 2 hours. I think a little over 2 hours, which again was not too bad considering that we've taken the yellow school buses, regular old, you know, yellow school buses, to a game that's been like over an hour away. So I feel like 2 hours wasn't that bad for what we, you know, like the drive was. Even if we had been on yellow buses, I still even feel like that wouldn't have been horrible. It wouldn't have been very comfortable, but it really wouldn't have been that bad. So again, the drive though wasn't like that horrible either. So it's kind of cool that we got to experience a Friday night playoff game because we haven't last year, again, because it was so far away. It was, I don't know, 5 or 6 hour drive. And so because of that, we ended up playing the school that we played them on Saturday because there was no way. Like last year we got up and left at, I honestly think we woke up at like 4 in the morning. Then we got to school like 5 o'clock. I think we left at like 6 o'clock. Like this, I know the sun was still not up when we had started driving. So That's why we couldn't play like last year on a Friday, because the kids would have had to have completely been out of school, and they would have had to have been to school before school normally starts. Like, that's what they had to do on that Saturday. So it was really weird, you know, like game last year. But this one was not too bad, because really it was like about 4 hours in total of driving, which again is not even that bad. You know, it's about double what we've had to do for regular, you know, and these are teams that are like in our division. Like, that's a normal game. And I think even the furthest team that we will play, that's like, because they realigned our division, so the furthest team away that we play is, we didn't play them away, we played them at home. I think they're almost an hour and a half, or maybe like over an hour, you know, 15 minutes, something like that. So anyways, the game though, it did not go very well. It was not in our favor. I'll be honest though, the team that we played today, I don't think was as good as the playoff team that we played last year. Like, this team though that we played this year went further in the playoffs last year, I think, than the other team might have. But this team, they were good, but we were able to play with them. Like, even some of the better competition that we've played this year that's in our conference, wasn't really, I don't think, as good as the teams that we played today. Or like I was telling Jack, it was either that they were really good competition and we just played up to that level of competition, which we didn't, I think, with the other, like, 2 teams really. I'd say there's 3 teams that beat us this year, and of those 3, 2 of them I think were very good competition anyway. They were like playoff teams that we ended up seeing, so like deserved to be in the playoff kind of teams, and were really good, you know, like I said, like teams. And again, level of competition was very good. So those 2 teams, when we played them, I felt like we didn't play up to their level of competition. Like, we just didn't, you know, like there was defense. I felt like the defense played good really these last like 3 or 4 games, but it was after one of our kids that I coached. He was a senior this year. I coached him when his first year of tackle football, when he was like, I don't even know how young he was, but like, you know, like a little kid, elementary school kid. I coached him, and he was a senior, so he was graduating this year, and this was his last year of football. And I was like, I am so sad. Like, that's just, it makes me feel old too. Like, I've been coaching him since since then. So you know, now he's like graduating high school. But the other kid that I coached, he's just a junior, so he'll be a senior next year. And I was like, even that is like terrifying. But anyways, so we ended up, you know, like I was telling Jack, either we played up to this level of competition that this team was, because those other 2 games, I think we didn't. And so we either did play up to this level of competition, or this team wasn't really good, and our mediocre, like, game was kind of just, you know, almost at their best level. You know, they beat us, but at our best, you know, like at their best level, or like with their best, you know, performance, like their, you know, best game was, you know, and I don't want to say their best game, but, you know, again, I felt like we played well today, so which makes me think that this team might have not actually been that great of a playoff team that we ended up playing against. Like my dad was saying, and like I guess, you know, the head coach should maybe kind of said too, was just like there was a lot of mistakes that were made. Like, we fumbled the ball I think 3 or 4 times. And there was one time too, we kicked a punt. It was like a muffed punt, and the ball ended up on their our 3-yard line. So they had 3 yards to go to get a touchdown. Like, you know, so like you can't really give the football to a team and expect them really not to score from there. I mean, like, you know, they scored on a kickoff too, and they missed the extra point though, but the final was 41-16, and there was another opportunity we had at the very end of the game where we could have maybe gotten another touchdown. And there was also one time where we were like in the red zone right before halftime that we maybe could have gotten the end zone. So it was a pretty close game still. But it was just, you know, and again too, not really even that much was on the defense. A lot of it was like the offense put the defense in bad positions. The defense also too though, there was 2 opportunities where it was 4th down and they went for a fake punt and they got it. We also got a fake punt though, and we also got 2 onside kicks. Plus we got an interception. But we also, again too, we had a lot of mistakes. Like, they had mistakes, but we also had a lot of mistakes, and our mistakes outweighed their mistakes. So like, you know. And like I said, there wasn't a lot of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that like this kid just, you know, ran for a 80-yard touchdown kind of thing. Like, that was the way some of those other games have gone in the past, where like they're just really bad, like blowout. Like, honestly, that was kind of how it was last year for the playoff game, was like our defense just couldn't stop them, and like we could barely move the ball. We could move the ball and we were getting stops. It was kind of like last week. The difference was that we couldn't come back from it. Like last week, we should have probably lost the game, but we somehow managed to come back from it. And this game today was like the exact same kind of thing. It was just, like I said, we couldn't come back from those mistakes and like being down what we were down. So again, it was really unfortunate. It was tough, you know, like a playoff game to kind of lose like that also. But it's just another one of those things that like makes you realize like the program's also going in the right direction. Like, you know, even the AD like kind of gave a speech like, you know, it really stinks for the seniors that are there, you know, that this was kind of how their season ended. But you know, again, too, had they been seniors when Jack was a senior, they would have had a hope and a prayer to make it to the playoffs. Jack won 1 game his senior year, and they won 6 this year and made it to the playoffs. Like, Jack, you know, and like his friends said too, they were like, we would have, you know, killed to have made it to this position that these kids are in now. And so it's just really cool. Like, we're doing better. We're doing better every year. We're positioning ourselves better in the playoffs too. You know, like especially compared to last year, you know, 6-3 is better than 5-4, which we were last year. So, like I said, that was how the playoff game went today. But the silver lining is that now that football's over, we do get to focus a little bit more on some of the other stuff that we have going on. And you know, like we get to look forward to next year too, which is another, you know, really awesome, great thing as well. But you know, like I said, it stings for the seniors, but it also is a good thing to, you know, like have started building the program up even more. You know, this is the first time in our school's history that we've went back-to-back years in the playoffs, which is also amazing. So anyways, I need to go get in the shower and warm up. I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.